What's up, everybody? It's your boy Kid Crypto, and I'm back. Yeah, this is, I think, the fastest turnaround I've had between videos. Hey, I know I promised a futures video, but after feedback from a lot of friends on the last video, I think it's going to be better to do futures at a more slow pace and smaller videos. Uh, Hence why, today's video is going to be shorter. I want to start to tackle what's going on in the markets, what is crypto. I want to bring people to information. That's been my sole goal ever since I started this channel, right? Those that have been with me from day one, they understand, hey, all I ever want to do is, learn together. I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I, humble myself enough and been in these markets enough that I'm just trying to help y'all, right? So today's video is going to be shorter, more concise. We're going to focus on a huge topic that just happened, which was the CPI release. Don't worry, we'll get into that. And then we'll just look at, what that means for the overall markets. Stay tuned because this weekend will be the first video where we break down what are futures and how people use this for making their own spot bags or little side hustle, etc. So um, that being said, I'm Kid Crypto. Let's go ahead and dive in. So today, as many have seen, yesterday through today, we had a little pump, nice, but it was calculated again. There's always bait and everything, a lot of volatility. I call it bait, right around these big data releases, job reports, unemployment, CPI, etc. Especially when we're in this mode of when is quantitative tightening going to end, right? So CPI came out today, and why this is important. CPI is the Consumer Price Index, right? It's just looking at the average change of pricing in goods or services. In these specific buckets, they're monitoring the Fed's Jerome Powell. He speaks highly of this report, right? They're huge on this report, okay? And so the reason why this is important is the big, news release is that as many of us, myself included, have been saying, hey, we've been in a recession. Things are going down. Okay, they've been pulling us back, and we'll look at that here in a second since 2021. And I'm going to show you what a CPI data release looked like back then and why they did what they did. Okay, so this morning, 8:30 a.m., beautiful Eastern time, 6:30 for me, but CPI items fall zero point 0.1. This is huge because they were projecting it actually to come in right at the same, and so this cooled off more than expected, right? So those that don't understand this, they're like, oh, why is this important? Here's the deal. Prices for stuff dropped a tiny bit. That's like if candy bar went from $1 to 99 cents, not a huge change, right? You're like, oh my God. But for over the whole year from last March to this March, prices are still up by 2%, 2.4. So things are more expensive than a year ago, but not by a crazy amount. So what they're doing is working. It takes time, and they've been doing it for over 2.5 years. Okay. So they're bringing energy, food prices, all of that to a halt because of what it looked like back when they had to turn this on. So how do you find that? Okay, I want to show y'all an example of a report from 2021. Y'all remember when we ran to all-time highs back then, and then the big sell-off right after. Well, following this type of data, looking from a high level, okay, what you'll do is just type in past CPI. Come here. I went to 2021 and I just wanted to go back and look. Look what it was here. Over the last month, all items in it increased 6.8%. Holy shit. Um, yeah, okay. Uh, what? I mean, you can see this 6.2. It was so inflated. So inflated. They were telling you, hey, we're inflated. And that's why I tie in FOMC meetings, right? These are where Jerome Powell takes these data points and then they project what monetary policies they want to apply for the rich to make money. They always make money. So if it's tightening, they're going to liquidate the shit out of people who think it's not. And then when it's easing, they're going to melt the shit out of people who just figured out that they were starting to sell. And so, I mean, as easy of a concept, I mean, they tell us right here in March, again, going back to my last video, I pointed this out. The committee will continue reducing its holdings of treasury securities. Okay. But beginning in April, the committee will slow the pace of selling. I wonder why. Is it because that they started to put us into a recession back then and they've been cooling off an overheated market since back then and now it's starting to finally cool off? The floodgates will be opened. I'm not here to predict the future, but it's cycles, levels to this shit, right? Shout out Pink Mill. I love you, bro. Um, and so looking at this, I mean, it's proof is in the pudding. It's right here, and the writing's on the wall. I mean, we can look back here at Bitcoin, right? And I've showed y'all this last time. If you go 1 year and then go max, you can see what happened here. Okay, in October, hey, we're going, oh my God. And then CPI, all this stuff. Hey, we're way inflated. And the Fed start to tell us, hey, we're gonna start to cool off on buying. It was the opposite back then. They were buying. Okay, quantitative easing. They're like, hey, we're gonna start to cool off. And then I showed you, it went, shoo. And then by January, the most important one, they said, hey, by March, we're done buying. We're gonna stop. Okay, okay. Well, then it gets back to normalcy here. Then Trump wins, new capital. Okay, call it what you want, but new capital comes in. Hey, just a reminder, retail, hey, we're still in quantitative tightening, but don't worry, we're cooling off. And they don't want you to know that. They know most of y'all are emotional. Most of y'all are playing with money that you can't afford to lose. This is not financial advice. When we have these dips, while you have they still have a few months of this. They're going to play with it. We get economic projections on June and September and December. If retail is expecting this, I wouldn't be shocked if it was this or this. They can take their time with it, and they will. They're going to exhaust you. They're going to make you want to sell. They're not going to want you to buy the dips because they know that they have money and you don't. So do little $10 buys, $20 buys, $15 buys. Shout out to the guy that was buying Bitcoin 20 bucks or whatever it was every single day over a course of years. Boss. He showed you, look, I can't do it all at once, but I'm gonna fucking take advantage. You're still early, you know. It's not even fully globally adopted yet. America hasn't even front runner or put out regulation yet. Come on, wake up. Multi-trillion-dollar market sitting there for the taking. You missed the dot-com bubble, you missed the social media friends. What else did you miss? So this is Kid Crypto. I wanted to show you how important CPI was. The markets are cooling off as they intended to do, but get ready for them to turn them off. This is going to be very important. So let's go ahead and prepare for May, right? And then we're going to sit here and take this level by level, but that does not mean that they don't exhaust you through here, okay? Right through the summer months where most people are spending time out with their families, etc., spending money elsewhere, not thinking about a future at the moment. That's okay. Enjoy that time because I promise you I'll help you out. Jimmy, from day one, I told y'all I'm going to give it back to all of y'all. So till next video, stay tuned. This weekend we'll drop into futures. This was Kid Crypto. Let's go.